In the ancient land of Canaan, there was a young boy named Joseph. Now, Joseph was not just any boy, he was the 11th son of Jacob and by far his favorite. Jacob loved Joseph so much that he made him a beautiful, colorful coat. Make Joseph. Each thread in Joseph's coat was more vibrant than a rainbow, catching the sunlight and dazzling all who saw it. Yet, the bright coat wasn't the only special thing about Joseph. He had marvelous dreams, and these dreams would soon unfold in extraordinary ways. One morning, Joseph sat around the breakfast table with his brothers, gleaming in his new coat. He began to recount one of his dreams. "Brothers, hear this dream I had," he proclaimed eagerly. "In my dream, I saw that we were all binding sheaves of grain in the field, and suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to mine." His brothers stared at him, their eyes darkening like storm clouds. "Do you intend to reign over us?" they snorted, their hearts brimming with jealousy and disbelief. Little did they know the true weight of Joseph's dreams. Time went by, and one day, while Joseph's brothers were tending their father's flocks, Jacob sent Joseph to check on them. As they caught sight of him approaching, his brothers hatched a mischievous plan. "Here comes the dreamer," they whispered among themselves. "Let us sell him to those Ishmaelite merchants and rid ourselves of his dreams." When Joseph got to his brothers, they grabbed him, stripped him of his coat, and cast him into a pit. Soon after, they lifted him out, sold him to passing traders, and returned home with a deceitful tale for their father. Jacob, seeing Joseph's colorful coat now stained in lamb's blood, believed a wild beast had devoured his beloved son. Despite his troubles, Joseph's spirit remained strong, and the Lord was with him. His wisdom and faithfulness allowed him to gain Potiphar's favor. Joseph entrusted in God's plan and continued to serve diligently. But soon, another challenge arose. Falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, Joseph found himself thrown into the dark, damp prison. Yet even in prison, Joseph never lost hope. God granted him favor with the warden, and before long, Joseph was put in charge of all the prisoners. Now, as it happened, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, had troubling dreams no one could decipher. Hearing of Joseph's gift, Pharaoh summoned him to the palace. Joseph listened to Pharaoh's dreams attentively and with God's wisdom revealed their meaning. "Pharaoh," he began, "your dreams mean there will be 7 years of abundance in Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine." Impressed by Joseph's insight, Pharaoh appointed him as the governor of all Egypt to prepare for the approaching famine. Joseph's keen planning saved Egypt from starvation during the hard years. Throughout all these adventures, Joseph held on to his faith in God. One day, his brothers arrived in Egypt seeking food during the famine. They bowed low before the governor, not recognizing the man who stood before them was their long-lost brother, Joseph. Joseph put his brothers to test to determine if they have repented and turned away from their old wicked ways. After Joseph's brothers passed the test, he said to them, "I am your brother Joseph." Tears glistening in his eyes, struck with awe, the brothers feared his wrath, but Joseph comforted them, saying, "Do not be distressed. What you intended for harm, God intended for good, to save many lives." And so, Joseph's family was reunited, and they moved to Egypt where they prospered for many years. Joseph forgave his brothers, showing that love and faith can conquer even the darkest jealousy.